Thank you.
We have made quite a few changes to the way we do the programme in the last few sort of weeks and days. And one of those, if you're just getting used to it, is that Carol does the weather now at 27 minutes past the hour and just before the start of the hour. And that's why we're going to Carol right now, because we're trying to reduce, Carol, aren't we, the number of people who are working across this programme. So no longer do we have the sort of regional bulletins during breakfast, but we do have you at a new time.
That's right, Dan. Thank you. It makes sense as well to have you.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast. You're watching with Louise Minchin and Dan Walker.
Our headlines for you at morning. It's Tuesday the 7th of March. Our main story for you. Two sources close to Boris Johnson say there's been no change in his condition after he was taken into intensive care last night.
The Prime Minister has been given oxygen but has not been put on a ventilator. He was admitted to hospital with persistent symptoms of COVID-19 back on Sunday evening. The Foreign Secretary, Dominic Raab, is now standing in for him. Our political correspondent Chris Mason has the details. A heart surgeon at Wales's largest hospital has died from coronavirus.
Now something a little bit, I don't know, light-hearted, isn't it? You might remember last week, you probably will remember if you watched it, we spoke to the Marsh family, who went viral for their hilarious self-isolation rendition of the Les Miserables song One Day More. I tried to say it without singing, but it's quite difficult.
It's very hard, isn't it? You'll be pleased to hear they are back with a brand new song, which will sadly be their last. We'll be speaking to them a little bit later on the programme, but here is a little taster.
We talk about when tomorrow comes. I have to apologise. I think I might have said it was March. Wishful thinking, I think, don't you, Dan?
It is hard to know what day it is, what time it is, but it's definitely April.
It's confused me by sitting so far away from you. Anyway, apologies, everybody. Don't worry, we are still in April.
And it is 11 minutes past 8, and last time I checked, it was Tuesday morning. Thank you for being with us this morning. Now, Boris Johnson, as we've heard from Michael Gove this morning, is known for his energy and enthusiasm and been described by Donald Trump as strong, resolute and someone who doesn't give up.
Well, this is a message that's been echoed in messages of support which has been shared across the political divide. Let's speak now to Boris Johnson's former Chief of Staff, Minister, who was a long-serving nurse at Aintree University Hospital. Thanks very much, Jane.
Sounds like an absolute superstar. What a lovely relationship to come out of. Such fantastic memories as well.
Special people.
So sad, isn't it, to hear about the loss of people who've made such a big impact on people's lives. But there are thankfully, some positive stories coming out of some of the darkest situations as well this morning. Yeah,
and we're talking about, remember that they were asking for volunteers, 750,000 volunteers. And some of them will be starting work today. We'll be talking about that shortly here on Breakfast. In the meantime, let's have a look at the weather. And there, Carol.
Morning.
Good morning,
Carol. Thank you.
Easter weekend ahead.
Look at that, Good Friday, coming up soon. Just after 8:30, you're watching Breakfast with Dan and Louise.
The Prime Minister remains in intensive care this morning, where he's been treated for coronavirus. That's our main...
That was Michael Gove speaking to us a little bit earlier. World leaders have expressed their concern for the Prime Minister. An extraordinary response. One of those who came forward was Stacey Walsh. She joins us now. Morning to you, along with Catherine Johnson, Chief Executive of the Royal Voluntary Service. Morning, both. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll come to you in a minute, Stacey, to talk about why you wanted to volunteer. Catherine Johnson, what did you think when you got so many people signing up?
Stacey, ready to go. But give us an idea of the huge logistical task of...
You're at work today, but effectively you're also on duty, awaiting instruction after patients, or what?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, thank you very much for talking to us today. Enjoy your normal job.
Yeah.
And I hope you get some work to do as well. You're clearly, like many other people, really keen to get involved. And Catherine, thank you for all your incredible effort over the last few days. And I really hope that these 750,000 people can make a genuine difference to so many who need help across the UK. Thank you.
Thanks both very much indeed. And thank you to all of those people who
Amazing.
Volunteered. It's at 8:41. Coronavirus has almost brought the property market to a standstill. That is according to new figures. And Nina is looking into this, also looking at trying to get some of your questions answered as well, aren't you, Nina?
Good advice, Nina, isn't it? I think most people are accepting that we are living in strange times and all that, the normality of life, like buying and selling houses and all that, the normal transactions, they are going to take a little bit longer and things will eventually, hopefully, return to normal, but it will take time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
She's like the advice guru then, Nina.
Exactly. Hold back on life decisions, everybody. 8:45. There's been a reversal of a decision, hasn't there, at Liverpool, Sally Morning?
I wonder if Liverpool Football Club...
Thank you very much for bringing us right up to date.
Here's a statistic for you. Question this yourself if you've got a partner. How long do you spend with them? Because in ordinary times, couples tend to spend 2.5 hours together each day. This is according to the Open University.
Now, that is quite different. In these unusual times, apparently we're spending about 15 or 16 hours of our waking hours together. So how's it going? Are the kids driving you mad?
It's going well. It's going well.
Are you bonding? It might be brilliant. Have you forged some unusual friendships? And Breakfast Jay McCubbin has been looking at some new relationships. We're all going to need grandson Tommy in our lives when we can no longer go to the hairdressers. We can't borrow him. Anyway.
Not becoming desperate yet, but I need somebody with a 2-metre pair of scissors so they can cut at a safe distance.
8:53, we've been talking about the Prime Minister all morning here on BBC Breakfast. We know he's in intensive care this morning. In the last hour, the Labour leader, Sir Keir Starmer, has wished him a speedy recovery and pledged to support the government during the pandemic. And that was Keir Starmer. And, there have been so many messages of goodwill, haven't there, from all over the world for the Prime Minister. If you want to keep up to date with all of that and the implications for government, etc., you can watch BBC News throughout the day. We'll be back here tomorrow as well. Obviously.
Yes, there is no sort of official update yet on what the condition of the Prime Minister is overnight, but there have been 2 sources close to the Prime Minister who said there's been no change in his condition, so he's still in intensive care in St Thomas's Hospital this morning.
We're making new friends on Breakfast, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
You might remember the Marsh family, made famous across the world for their self-isolation parody of Les Miserables, One Day More.
They are back with their latest and their final song. We'll catch up with them in a moment. They're on their sofa, ready to talk to us, but first, let's have a little look. Well, that is the follow-up to One Day More. We're joined now by the...
Yeah, Monty.
Is it Monty the dog, was it? Not on camera, actually. Emily, with so many people were waiting for the difficult second song, if you like.
Knew who Jimmy Kimmel was before this morning, but I understand you've been on his press...
Last night, is that right? What was that experience like on the Jimmy Kimmel show?
It was...
I don't want to... You looked slightly tired.
Great to see you supporting a fantastic cause. Ella and Alfie, we've got you in the middle there. I remember...
Real pleasure to speak to you again. Absolutely fantastic work, everybody. That's it from us from today. We'll be back from tomorrow from 6 o'clock as ever.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.